So everybody been telling me it was absolute peak, so I watched it in 3 days just to make this video. And tell me why this dude Mark named himself that, because he's anything but invincible. They ain't wasting no time, and Conquest and Mark instantly clash, sending a whole shockwave throughout the city. Mark got no idea what to do. He's completely clueless. Then Conquest headbutts him to get up off of him and grabs his neck to spike him down, and he tells Mark that he may think he's here to convince him to join the Vincible Empire just like Anissa did. But nah, my man's Conquest is doing this for the pure love of the game. He wants no peace, just straight hands. But Mark is not having it. He instantly smacks the goofy out of bro.
Alright, I see the potential.
He blew him through hella buildings and had one of them fall on top of him. But this is not anything for Conquest. He digs his way out of the rubble, and somehow Mark is the one to come out last. And he pulls Mark from underneath the rubble and strangles him, talking about some "I want more, I want more." And it's really not a fake demon. But tell me how Invincible is the one that thrashed him through all the buildings, but Conquest is the one to come out on top. Mark not trying to go outside, so he slams his arms down to loosen his grip, hits him with a peekaboo and kicks him away. Conquest over here praising him, so Mark decides to go harder and roughs him up a bit throughout the city. Hits him up in the air, grabs him back down for a knee, and continues flying upwards. Goes down one last time and hits Conquest with this crazy slam, which sends him orbiting out of space. And look at Conquest's face, bruh. Somebody has to come get this man. He is cheesing way too hard to be looking like that. He finally decides to stop playing with bro and gives the fans at home a devious look and double punches Mark, sending him straight back to earth. And now they squabble in midair like Peter and that chicken. But before Conquest slams him all the way down, Mark knees him and pushes him out the way.
Is that all you got, old man?
Oh, come on, Mark. Don't make your mama cry, bruh. Mark wakes up after this, coughing up blood, but something's wrong. It's rumbling, and he turns around and Conquest is flying at supersonic speeds and grand slams him deeper into the ground. Look at the sheer impact of the blow. He got the whole city shaking up. Then the camera pans to Oliver. He seen Mark getting clapped on the news, and he just had to slide for his older brother. But this man Conquest is not letting up. He's hitting this man Mark hard as hell, flying from place to place. Oliver trying to keep up, but Conquest is just too fast. He's literally demolishing this man. He's throwing him against building after building and falls into this truck and it explodes on top of him. He tries to get up to recover, but as soon as he raises his head, he sees Conquest at full top speed and determination charging right at him, and he begs for this man to stop, and he does.
Time out, bro. Chill.
Fuck that. You think I'ma just let you surrender? I'm having way too much fun. Like I said, bro, he does this for the sheer love of the game.
Hey, don't give up. You can do this. You still got a chance.
Nah, ain't no way I'm letting another grown man say that to me. Mark gotta lock in. I don't know what he's doing. But then out of the blue, Oliver comes in with the clutch. He charges at Conquest again, but he just slams him onto the ground. Nose leaking mad. He grabs him by the leg and holds him upside down. He threatens him, but Mark swoops in and kicks him out the way to protect his little brother. And he tells him to pull off because it's not safe. Like, bro, didn't he just save you? If it wasn't for him, you'd be sauteed. Oliver ain't having it, but Mark ain't either, so he throws him out the way. While Conquest flies in and grabs him, slamming him into this car and throughout the city entirely. Now he just smashing bro's body into anything. Now he's just yapping about how Mark don't got no love for the game. And he tosses him onto this car, punching it, and it explodes with him. Mark has had it. He flies back and comes in with this clean headbutt. Got him leaking again. But Conquest says something slick and Mark rushes in rampaging, beating him down. And he has had enough. Now he's just punching him over and over and over and over again, like he's Sasuke or something. Conquest grabs his fist, stands up, and tells him that ain't nothing. He got to try harder or else it's not gonna end well. And then the scene switches over to Eve in the hospital, and she been out cold since the other Marks cooked her. She finally wakes up wondering what happened to Mark, if he got cooked or not, going against his other selves. But she turns her head and sees on the news, yes, he is getting cooked again, but not by the other variants this time, but by this older Viltrumite named Conquest. Now Eve crashing out trying to go help Mark, but the doctors remind her she's still not healed and missing a leg. She can't even walk yet. And we cut back and Conquest grabs this man Mark's arm and says he's been playing with him this entire time. Now he pulls him and bulldozes him into some glass, smashes in and out of this building, having civilians get caught up, and grand slams this man into the pavement. This man says, why is he even here? It's too easy that it's pathetic. And he slaps him forward and aligns his body like he's Rock Lee with the hidden lotus. He turns up and dives into his chest and drags him across the pavement into the bus. Picks his head up and he he says that he knew his father when he was young, but it's too bad that he's dead. He got executed right before he left. But little does he know, Lord Vrax and Omni-Man escaped, and now they're just chilling. He raises his arm to land the finishing blow, but Oliver, the real MVP, comes up and kicks him just before he can. He's trying to convince this man Mark to jump Conquest. He knows he ain't built for this, but Mark is still not going for it. He's telling him to go home, and then Conquest comes up and smacks him into a nearby building to shift focus onto Oliver, and he rocks his shit too. Oliver gets up, tries to talk, but he spits up blood with half his teeth falling out with it. Then Conquest picks him up and raises him above his head and starts to literally reverse hydraulic press him. This bringing him pure joy that he can just hear his body tearing in half from his pulling alone. Mark gets up and his ears are ringing from the attack. He looks over and sees his brother about to be killed and instantly locks in and grabs him flying far away. But Conquest somehow, some way, stops his momentum fully and grabs him by the dome and punches him, breaking all the nearby windows. Mark is in hella pain, but despite that, he comes back to punch him off and make him crash into this building. Then the camera pans over to Oliver, absolutely drained and destroyed. But Cecil and his goons pull up to give bro a med kit and take him home. But as he's about to do that, he looks up and sees Mark getting absolutely cooked. It is not looking good for bro. Then Eve calls him up and tells him to slide ASAP. She's trying to convince him to give her the green light to pull up to the fade. Mind you, she just got obliterated by a much weaker version of Mark, and Conquest is way stronger than the main Mark. So what do you think she's gonna do to contribute? And we cut back to Mark skipping on water like he's a stone for good luck, and Conquest jumps on his back just for the love of the game and slides his head on the water. He spots this beach, ramps up his speed, and zooms past, killing everybody there. Imagine just having a good time with your family and now everybody gone because an alien decides to run past y'all. Now he goes into another area of the beach, pulls Mark's head high, reminiscent of to what Omni-Man did to him just 2 seasons ago, and kills these civilians with his body. Then he drags his head into the dirt on some disrespectful timing and flies him into the air. Now Mark has had enough. He pulls away and comes back with a solid punch to the skull. Then Eve makes it in last second and adds some extra damage, making the face plant right into this object. They ran a whole play on my boy. Conquest sees that Eve has pulled up and he's utterly disgusted, and he dashes toward her, but before they make contact, Vincible grabs him flying away, begging for her to leave. But Conquest breaks free and comes back with this karate chop straight in his knees, tearing out his ACL. He is never going to be able to dunk again. Mark falls down and Eve tries to help him by trapping Conquest and flying after him, but that shield is super weak. He just claps and it falls apart. Then she uses those shards that fell apart to go through this Iron Man transformation in order to gain armor and to stand a better chance. Conquest charges in, but Adam Eve increases the air density so he can't come any closer. She thinks she got Gojo's Infinity. Then she creates a spiked mallet and plows Conquest, spins around making another one and goes 2 for 2. She tries to go 3 for 3, but Conquest grabs the mallet just before it can drop on top of him, the impact causing the crater beneath his feet, and he destroys it.
You breathing mad heavy, gang. Just how long do you think we can keep this up?
He charges in, but Eve backs up, creating hella walls and shields to keep him at bay. Conquest breaks the last one. Eve uses the debris to make a bubble around his dome, holding them in place for these 2 spiky balls, and follows it up with these 2 weapons, spiking them further into the distance. And then these 2 blocks smash into him straight after. Not gonna lie, Eve is surprising me. Why is she low-key putting in more work than Mark Grayson himself? Mark been on Fraud Watch the entire series. Now he got his girlfriend outdoing him in his own fight too. Eve's overwhelming him with these creative attacks, actually doing solid. Then she charges up this spear and chucks it at him, and this menace goes halt and stops it from piercing him with minimal difficulty. He comes in and smacks Eve's armor off of her previously injured leg, and he spins back to destroy the rest of the lower half, grabs her by her arm, squeezes, and slams his head against hers, destroying the helmet. Then he grabs her arms and pulls her armor sleeves off as well. And look at that look in his eyes. It's safe to say he's finna do her wrong. He charges in and holy smokes, Eve, no! Look at her face, bro. She got flamed. But Conquest is nowhere near finished. As she's in the air, he pulls his arm back and spikes her straight in the gut for the finisher. Now she's falling with her intestines flying straight out, and all this man Mark can do is sit there and watch on the sidelines and scream no. But he finally gets his bum ass up and flies up to catch her and lowers her down to the ground, begging for her to stay alive. Now he just crying because she can't come back from something this brutal. This man Mark is so distraught he's yelping for Cecil's help right after he just cut ties with him. We all know Cecil watching this right now in that one room eating popcorn with his feet up. He is not slick, and Conquest is sitting over here licking the blood off of his fingers. He really takes joy in this. Mark turns around and gives Conquest this sad stare, and Conquest thanks this man for the opportunity to put belt to ass because he typically don't get chances like this. Yeah, somebody needs to go check on bro. He's going insane. Calling him a smoke demon would be an understatement. But this man Mark hits us with the hardest quote of the series and responds with,
I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
Hey, but actions speak louder than words, bro. Lock in. Conquest tells him to do his worst and opens his arms out, completely leaving himself wide open. So Mark locks in and takes his chance, and they clash. Ending with both of their arms being all messed up from the impact, like they Naruto and Sasuke at the final valley. But Mark is not done. He got something to prove. He charges in and starts going absolutely ham on Conquest. Conquest dodges and grips him up, giving him a tight bear hug. But then Mark resorts to the only weapon he got left in this predicament, his mouth. And he goes hard on Conquest's shoulder, ripping some meat straight out of it. Conquest pushes him off. Mark stabilizes, charges back, ready to make up for all of his slip-ups in the past. They start clashing midair, causing so many shockwaves. And somehow, someway, Eve unlocked the avatar state like she's pausing. The show ain't even out yet, relax. We pan back over and Mark is locked. My man's finally beating the allegations. He's straight pummeling Conquest. But he looks over his shoulder and sees Eve currently ascended, fully evolved. Conquest uses his chance to grab him by the neck and stop their position, slamming him back into the ground instead. Now this old nigga just venting, talking about some no other Viltrumite wants to be his friend. He's so lonely, nobody messes with him, they're scared of his strength. And then he tells him to take their secret to the grave, and he starts manually forcing him into his own grave beneath him. Mark can't do nothing but cry. Then all of a sudden Eve comes up and hits Conquest with this tri-beam, completely frying him. Then she falls over. But somehow this man is still alive, stands up and says he's gonna make sure she's dead this time around. But then Mark gets heated up, immediately dashes at him, punching him like Otter Curry did Luffy. Conquest gets sent flying back, but Mark ain't letting up. He jumps on top of him and starts going berserk, but Conquest grabs his fist and completely shatters his other hand. So now Mark has no hands to use in this battle, and he decides to use his head just like OG Naruto did and starts slamming his dome on top of Conquest, caving his face in. Now he's fully covered in blood and then he collapses. My boy just got done fighting the strongest opponent of the series thus far, and for once he came out on top.
I need to play it right now, cause man, got a bad bitch. Sweet. Hello. Okay, she got bag. Hello. Okay, she got clay. Hello. Okay, she got eggs. Hello. Ooh, I like her tone. Okay. Shawty say she home. Okay. Got her out that thong. Okay. Made her silly.